I am Cara Palmer's grandmother, and very happy to be doing this today. I was born October 13th, 1924. Both my parents are from Italy, but my father, that would be your great-grandfather, came here at 3 years of age, and he was educated here. He went to school here, and he worked on pianos. He finished the furniture on pianos, lost that job, floundered around for a couple of years with a family to support because he had me and my brother. But then he started to work for the Metropolitan Life Insurance Company, and he flourished in that. Retired and lived until he was 101 years old. So my mother came here. She was about 18 by that time, and lived with her sister, my Aunt Mary. And when she got married from that home. She learned English and spoke English better than anybody born here. I lived through World War II from the very, very first day. I was not even 18 years old then. I was a senior at Bayside High School in Queens, and in my last year, and it was the beginning of December, and it was a Sunday, and we heard over the radio, there was no television then, that Pearl Harbor had been bombed by the Japanese. The next day, there was a Sunday. The next day when I went to school, the whole school was ushered into the auditorium. And there, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who was our president then, we heard it over the loudspeaker. He made the announcement that we declared war on Japan. Now, I was supposed to graduate that June, and some of the boys, my friends that I was going to graduate with, wanted to volunteer for the service right away. Now, because of the war, we did not have a prom. We had a yearbook that was just a little bit of a yearbook, nothing like we should have. Some of the boys volunteered. We had a little graduation, and that was it. And all you saw in the city, I went to a business school in the city, Catherine Gibbs. You would see a lot of young boys. I call them boys because that's all they were. They were really not just 18, in uniform. That's all you would see were men in uniform. We were rationed meat. We had little ration tickets to get meat, so much meat. There was no such thing as butter. Gasoline was rationed. You had to be very careful how much you used, because everything went for the troops. And you would see in all the windows, anybody that you knew who was in the service in that home, there was a little flag, a little star. And if anybody was killed and lost, there was a gold star, and you knew they lost somebody. Everybody went all out for the troops, all out for the troops. And the only information we got was what we read in the newspapers and on the radio, just a little, announcements. But there was nothing like today with all the TV and all that business. But I went to business school, Catherine Gibbs, a very good business school. I got a job right away at McGraw-Hill. And then from that time I got into advertising and public relations, and I did very well. I became Mrs. Duca on November 11th, 1950. That was 67 years ago. Unfortunately, my husband passed away 8 years ago. But he was a Marine in World War II, all over the Pacific. He was wounded. He got shot in the back. Thank God. He came out of it okay. But you know, he had malaria and all that goes with it. And he had quite an experience, and he received the Purple Heart. We met in 1950, and we were married in 1950, within 6 months. We met at a house party at my mother's house. We met, and the very next morning, he called me up for a date. And we saw each other almost every day from that time on, and we were married within 6 months. And we were together for 58 years. We had 6 children, including twin girls, 18 grandchildren. We lost 2 of them. And now we're on the great-grandchildren.
What was it like having 6 kids?
It was hectic, because we had 1, and then the year after that another 1, and 18 months after that, twins. And then after 8 years, we had another 1, and after 4 years, another 1. And I managed it. I had help. My mother and father would help out, and my husband's parents. They lived nearby, and we had wonderful times. We had dinner around the table every night. Great people at the table. My husband was on the police force in the emergency squad, so sometimes he had different hours. But we managed very, very well. I was a stay-at-home mom for about 21 years. Then I had the urge to go out and had a part-time job in real estate. And then I went over to college in continuing ed. So I worked for a while, and then retired when your grandfather retired. The best part of being a mother of 6 is really the reward is now. Because now is the time that I need a little help. You know, I'm 93 years old. And they're right there for me. They take me shopping and always helping out. That's the reward. Yeah. And a lot of attention, phone calls. I'm never alone. I eat well, I exercise, and I guess I'm just very fortunate. My philosophy, I always tell young couples especially, if you want to go away together and you want to do something together, do it right away while you're young. Because sometimes if you wait, oh well, when I retire, sometimes that doesn't happen. Do it while you can do it. Don't put it off if you're able to do it. And you have to care for people, you know? You have to show a lot of care and be concerned a little bit with people. You just can't pass things off sometimes. Like, well, it's not my business. Sometimes you have to help people. Well, I lived moderately. I didn't overdo it. You know, first of all, I couldn't afford it. You know, I lived according to my means. That's what you have to do.